Have you ever felt like you're meant for more, but something's holding you back? The truth is, you're not stuck because you're weak. You're stuck because you've been thinking too small. This video isn't about motivation, it's about transformation. Here, you'll discover how to think 10 times bigger, act 10 times bolder, and become someone who creates extraordinary results in an average world. If you're tired of limits, of waiting, of playing safe, this is your call to rise. Let's dive in and unlock the 10x mindset that changes everything. Most people set small goals because they're afraid of failure. But it's exactly those small goals that lead to average actions and end in mediocre results. 10x thinking doesn't accept that. It forces you to think so big, it shakes your comfort zone. Only when the goal is massive does your mind unlock its full creativity and drive. When you raise the bar 10 times, you don't just change your outcomes, you change the kind of person you're becoming. Big goals aren't just targets. They're tools that shape the entire architecture of your identity. 10x thinking forces you to think in systems rather than scattered tasks. If your goal is to save a few hundred, you'll skip coffee. But if your goal is 1 million, you'll think investments, scalable income, and monetizing your value. Big goals don't just raise the standard, they transform your entire strategy. When you aim for a mountain peak, your eyes lift from the ground. You start walking like a climber. You move with purpose, and that shift in posture, in mindset, in energy, that's where transformation begins. No one wakes up excited to chase uninspiring goals. If your goals don't make you jump out of bed, they're not big enough. 10x thinking reignites your inner fire. It gives you a reason to fight procrastination, fear, and the comfort of settling. It makes each day feel meaningful because you're chasing something that stretches your spirit. And the more you reach for something extraordinary, the closer you get, not just to success, but to becoming the person you were truly meant to be. Big goals don't just change your life, they redefine who you are. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating how much action success actually takes. Most people take just enough action, not to fail, but never enough to truly break through. 10x thinking doesn't allow that. It demands more depth, more speed, more consistency. Success doesn't respond to average effort. It only responds when the force of your momentum is stronger than the weight of doubt, delay, and fear. When you commit to massive action, you're not just doing more, you're moving with such power that hesitation has no room to exist. Massive action isn't about working 24/7 or burning out. It's about focusing on the right things with extreme clarity. It's about eliminating 80% of busy work and pouring your energy into the 20% that truly moves the needle. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the things that matter, at a higher level than anyone else. When your energy is concentrated and your focus is relentless, you create leverage. That leverage is what lifts you into results that feel exponential. Not because you're working more, but because you're working smarter and deeper. What's special about massive action is the momentum it creates. Once you start acting with intensity, focus, and strategy, you enter a flow state where performance multiplies. Suddenly, action is no longer a chore. It becomes instinct. Results show up faster, clearer, and with greater power. You're not luckier, you're just more deliberate. You've chosen to enter a rhythm that most never sustain long enough to reach. Momentum is the silent multiplier of all extraordinary achievement, and it's only accessible through massive action. Practical strategy. Choose one 10x goal and block out 2-3 hours every day for deep work. No distractions, no phone, no excuses. Just you and the task that matters most. Massive action isn't born from emotion. It's built from discipline. When you make bold, focused effort a daily non-negotiable, you stop depending on motivation. You become the architect of your own momentum. That's when success becomes inevitable. Not because you're hoping, but because you're doing what others refuse to do. Over and over again. Success doesn't require perfect conditions. It demands relentless commitment. Every excuse is a fence you build to delay your potential. I don't have time, I'm not ready, I need more research. These aren't truths. They're sophisticated ways of justifying inaction. 10x thinking doesn't give space for these stories. It forces you to ask a different question. How can I move forward even when the situation isn't perfect? You're not stuck because of lack of time or resources. You're stuck because you're still giving your excuses a seat at the decision-making table. Excuses feel comforting because they remove responsibility. But that comfort is a trap. The moment you eliminate excuses, you're left with only one choice: act. You can't hold on to justifications and expect results. One of them has to go. People who embrace the 10x mindset choose to eliminate all justifications, so their full energy is directed toward solutions. The difference between motion and progress is often the number of excuses you're still entertaining. Kill the story and you unlock the strategy. That's how breakthroughs begin, when excuses end. Every time you blame external factors, you hand away power. Asking, "What can I do right now?" reclaims that power. That question shifts you from passive to active. It's the line between those who move forward and those who remain stuck. Not everyone has the same resources, but everyone has the same choice: to act or to stall. 10x thinkers don't hang out in victim mode. They don't wait for the weather to change, they build their own storm. That's how they shift the balance of power back into their hands. Practical strategy. Write down your top 3 excuses. Then, beside each one, list one concrete action that would break through it. Example: I don't have time. Wake up 1 hour earlier and prioritize the one task that moves me forward. This small exercise rewires your mental operating system. It reprograms your inner dialogue from limitation to possibility. Once excuses are replaced with action, you'll be shocked at how fast your life begins to shift. That's how 10x thinking turns hesitation into execution, and execution into acceleration. No one creates extraordinary results with lukewarm passion. The people who make waves are the ones who turn their goals into obsessions, an unstoppable inner force. Positive obsession isn't unhealthy fixation. It's full-throttle commitment to a vision that fuels you from the inside. When you're truly pulled toward something meaningful, you don't need external motivation. You act because you can't not act. This is the state where effort becomes instinct and progress becomes inevitable. You're no longer negotiating with your goals, you're living through them. That's the kind of energy 10x thinking demands. Obsession brings clarity. It tells you exactly what matters and, more importantly, what doesn't. Those without a clear obsession get distracted, pulled in too many directions, and lose their edge. But those with a defined mission eliminate everything that doesn't serve it. They don't try to do 100 things. They master one until they become untouchable. Obsession isn't noise. It's focus amplified. It streamlines your priorities and sharpens your edge. That clarity becomes your compass, and that compass keeps you advancing long after most have faded. Practical strategy. Choose one goal you're willing to commit to for the next 12 months. Write down why it matters to you and what makes it worth the sacrifice. Spend 15 minutes daily reviewing this reason and mapping out one action that pushes it forward. This ritual reinforces commitment and sharpens purpose. When your why is strong enough, effort becomes automatic. And once you operate with the energy of a healthy obsession, you no longer have to force discipline. You move because nothing else matters more. That's where 10x execution begins and mediocrity ends. Fear isn't a sign to stop, it's a signal you're approaching a breakthrough. 10x thinking doesn't avoid fear. It stares it down and moves anyway. Fear shows up most intensely when something could change your life. That racing heart, that hesitation, that urge to retreat, those are indicators you're stepping into the unknown where growth lives. High performers don't act because they're fearless. They act despite fear. They understand that discomfort isn't danger, it's expansion. And if fear shows up, it's proof that what you're about to do actually matters. Most fear isn't based on reality, it's fueled by imagination. The mind exaggerates risk and projects worst-case scenarios, but research shows that most fears never actually materialize. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What if I succeed?" When you shift focus from risk to reward, fear begins to lose its grip. That's the 10x mindset. Don't let fear stop you. Let it point the way. If a goal doesn't scare you a little, it's probably not stretching you enough. Growth and fear walk hand in hand. You either hide from both or embrace both. Practical strategy. Write down one thing you fear right now, an action you've been avoiding. Break it into 3 simple steps you can take this week. For example, If public speaking scares you, start by talking to a friend, then a small group, then a live room. Every step you take shrinks fear's control. Eventually, what once terrified you will become your zone of excellence. Action dissolves fear faster than thought. That's how 10x achievers transform hesitation into habit and make courage a daily ritual. When fear becomes your compass, growth becomes your destiny. You're not only shaped by your own mindset, you're programmed by the people around you. Every conversation, belief, and expectation in your environment silently builds or destroys your personal standards. If you're in a circle where just enough is considered success, big dreams will feel unrealistic. But step into a room where ambition, action, and growth are the norm, and your own thinking expands automatically. Your circle either pushes your limits or reinforces them. That's why 10x results don't come from willpower alone. They come from being immersed in an ecosystem of elevation. 10x thinking can't thrive in a 0x environment. You can't think bigger if you're surrounded by small minds. So take control of your network. Seek out those who aim high, take risks, and treat every day as an opportunity to evolve. Even if you don't know them personally, you can still absorb their mindset through podcasts, books, masterminds, or online learning communities. What matters isn't proximity, it's energy. The energy you feed your mind daily becomes the energy that powers your actions. And the quality of your environment determines the height of your growth. Practical strategy. Audit your inner circle. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they lifting you toward your vision or anchoring you to the status quo? If the answer isn't clear, it's time to upgrade your environment. Join growth-focused groups, engage with high-performance content, or seek mentors who live the results you desire. You don't need to meet them in person. You just need to let their thinking enter your world. Surround yourself with excellence long enough, and you'll forget how to settle. That's how a 10x environment silently transforms you. Anyone can start, but not everyone finishes. Success doesn't only require a strong beginning, it demands something deeper: persistence. On the 10x journey, there will be moments of exhaustion, doubt, and unexpected setbacks. In those moments, average thinkers quit, but 10x performers keep going, not because it's easy, but because the goal is too meaningful to abandon. They've removed the option to quit. They've decided in advance that discomfort is part of the path. When the goal is big enough, giving up becomes impossible. That's what separates those who touch greatness from those who merely dream of it. Persistence isn't blind effort, it's refined adaptation. Every failure becomes a data point. Every challenge becomes a test of mental muscle. 10x thinkers don't fear obstacles. They absorb lessons and upgrade strategies. Research proves that resilience, the ability to recover and move forward, is more predictive of long-term success than talent or intelligence. That means the real edge isn't how smart you are, it's how relentless you are. If there's one skill to build for lasting achievement, it's the ability to keep going when others stop. Grit outlasts hype. Persistence defeats talent when talent refuses to endure. Practical strategy. Build a persistence plan around your 10x goal. Anticipate possible roadblocks: loss of motivation, external criticism, slow results. Then, create pre-decided responses for each one. Think like a marathoner. Don't quit at mile 25 because it hurts. Plan your energy reserves, your mindset fuel, and your fallback habits. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Persistence is the final bridge between almost and achieved. And sometimes, the only difference between ordinary and exceptional is one more step taken after everyone else stopped walking. In the 10x journey, celebration isn't the finish line, it's the fuel station. Every win, no matter how small, deserves recognition. Because each "I did it" moment reinforces identity and builds momentum. When you celebrate progress, you train your brain to value growth. That emotional reward strengthens the habit loop, making high performance sustainable. But 10x achievers don't celebrate to rest. They celebrate to reload. Success isn't where they stop, it's where they launch. Each victory becomes a stepping stone, not a destination. In the 10x life, you don't settle for the summit. You scan the horizon for your next climb. Practical strategy. At the end of each week, list 3 wins, no matter the size. Then ask, what's the next level of this result? Build a habit of layering success by setting a new 10x challenge linked to your recent achievements. Share your progress with a mentor or accountability partner for extra reinforcement. When you treat success as a springboard, not a sofa, you keep rising. You stay energized, focused, and hungry. And eventually, you build a life where momentum never dies. Because in the 10x world, every finish line is just the starting gun for something even greater.
You don't need more motivation. You need a decision. Either keep living the same way or break through on an exponential level. The 10x mindset isn't a slogan. It's a life strategy. It teaches you to set massive goals, take intense action, eliminate excuses, turn fear into fuel, and build an environment that elevates you to greatness. Every stage of this journey leads to a more upgraded version of yourself. And if you're truly serious, remember this: the only limit is the one you haven't dared to break. Now is the time to live 10x, not tomorrow, today.